I was skeptical about this one because I've tried a few subwoofers that promised thunderous lows but ended up sounding like a wobble in the couch. My first impression was that the big box would dominate the living room, and I wondered if I'd have to sacrifice space just to get decent bass. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. After a weekend of watching a few movies and listening to a playlist that really pushes low frequencies, I started to see why the Klipsch Reference Premiere RP-1600SW is getting so many mentions. The first thing I noticed was how quickly the sub kicked in. The built-in high-efficiency Class D amp doesn't just push power, it does so without getting hot, so the unit stays quiet even after a long binge-watch session. For anyone who's built a home theater in a small apartment, that means you can crank up the volume on an action scene without worrying about the sub getting too warm or the room feeling stuffy. It also means the electricity bill doesn't spike dramatically, which is a nice side benefit if you're mindful about energy use. Another practical side is the driver's high excursion design. The 16-inch cone moves a lot of air, so you feel the rumble in more than just the ears. When I tried watching a car chase in my favorite racing game, the bass actually helped convey the sense of speed, like feeling the tires slide on the asphalt. That kind of low-frequency response is useful not just for movies, but also for music lovers who enjoy genres with deep sub-bass, like electronic or hip-hop. The sub integrates smoothly with both surround sound setups and stereo pairs, so you don't have to rewire if you decide to upgrade your speakers later. Balanced performance is another point that mattered to me. The RP-1600SW doesn't just blast low notes, it stays controlled, so the bass remains tight rather than boomy. In practical terms, that means you can listen to a symphony with delicate bass lines and still hear the detail, instead of the notes just washing over you. The built-in crossover lets you dial in the exact frequency point where you want the sub to take over, which is a handy tweak if you've got a mix of smaller bookshelf speakers and a larger front left/right pair. I found that setting the crossover around 80 Hz gave me a seamless blend that sounded natural. Design upgrades also play a role in everyday use. The grille isn't just a decorative cover, it actually protects the driver from accidental knocks, which is handy if you have kids or pets roaming the room. The chassis has a matte black finish that blends into most decor styles, so you don't feel like you've added an eyesore to the living room. Plus, the front-facing ports make placement more flexible. Whether the sub sits on a stand, rests on the floor, or is tucked under a rug, it still maintains the deep, even response. If you're someone who likes to keep things tidy, the sub's inputs are straightforward. There's a single line-level RCA input that takes the signal from most AV receivers, and the volume knob on the front lets you fine-tune the output without diving into the receiver's menu. I appreciated that I could quickly adjust the bass level while a movie was playing, rather than pausing and fumbling through the on-screen settings. The remote-less approach keeps the unit uncluttered, which is a small but pleasant convenience. From a practical standpoint, the size is worth mentioning. While a 16-inch driver sounds massive, the overall footprint is comparable to a small bookshelf speaker, so it fits under a TV stand or in a corner without dominating the space. That's useful if you. For most buyers, the real question is not whether Klipsch Reference Premiere RP-1600SW 16-inch high excursion subwoofer sounds impressive on paper, but whether strengths like advanced acoustics and balanced performance actually make daily use feel easier, more dependable, and more worthwhile after the first few days of excitement wear off. It is also smart to think about long-term satisfaction. A product like Klipsch Reference Premiere RP-1600SW 16-inch high excursion subwoofer usually feels like the better buy when it stays convenient, comfortable, and reliable in normal everyday use instead of only looking good in the listing.